Hello students, welcome to Java programming course. Currently we are at Unit 5, Chapter 2, Multi-threaded Programming. And these are the topics we are going to discuss in this video. Thread states, that it means every thread during execution, it may have different states. So based on the states of the thread, we can assume that what is the current processing of execution of our threads. And thread priority. Second topic is thread priority. And thread priority is nothing but giving one integer value to the thread. During execution, it may be treated with special compared with the other threads when it has some based on priority. And coming to another topic today is synchronization. So synchronization is one of the mechanism we can achieve between the two cooperative processes who are executing based on the data sharing, maybe resource sharing, like that. Okay. And coming to the first topic, thread states. We know that a thread can exist in number of different states, right? We can obtain the current state of the thread by invoking the method called uh, set state method defined by thread, get state method. So get state is a method which can returns the current state of the thread during the execution in a CPU. And this is the general form of this method invocation process. It is the method defined in the thread class, and the type of this is state. Okay. It returns a value of type thread, value of thread, type of thread. And state here indicates that, this state indicates that the state of the thread at the time at which the calls was made. State is an enumeration, that it is nothing but a list of constants defined by the thread about the state of the thread. So what are the list of constants they can define by thread class? So coming to here, these are the values that can be returned by the get state method when we invoke this one. And these are the values that are given. This is the type of called state. Okay, block. So a thread that has suspended execution because it is waiting to acquire a lock. And the second, another type of state, it is new. New is the state when it is ready and when it is created, or that is thread has not begin execution, but it is going to be for execution. So when it is created newly, then the state of that thread is called new. And runnable, a thread either is currently executing or will execute when it gain access to the CPU, that it is named ready. So it is ready to execute, or maybe currently executing on the processor. So that is a state we can express like runnable. And another one is terminated, a thread that has completed execution, that is terminate state. And time waiting, a thread that has suspended execution for a specified period of time, such as when it has called sleep method, right? So when this sleep method invoked on a particular thread object, so it is going to be wait until the time specified for a period of time using this sleep. This state is also entered when a timeout version of wait or a join is called. And these are also methods keeps the thread into a waiting state and based on the time period also. But another is waiting state. So this thread has suspended execution because it is waiting for some action to occur. Some action to occur, then that the thing is not related to time out versions, right? For example, it is waiting because of a call to a non-timeout version of wait or join. So here it is waiting state is not related to time related specified methods, but it is non-timeout versions of the wait and join without timing values. It's very something a thread may be suspended their execution because something action to be occur at this moment of time, then it is going to state called waiting state. All of these are the values of the thread states during execution of those threads in our computer systems. And this is one brief introduction view of this thread states. So when it is created, that is the state called new state. And when the start method invoked on the thread, then it's going to be runnable state. So during this runnable state, it may change the state to waiting or timeout waiting, timed waiting, or maybe some other state like block, right? So what is the state that waiting and timed waiting is based on? Waiting the value based on the time or maybe related to non-timeout versions. Okay, but whenever it is going to block, so that is waiting block is for to particular log to be wait and log required. When other process or other thread is executing or using that resource based on putting that log on the resource, but another requested thread on that resource is waiting for that lock released by the thread that acquired that resource. When the thread acquired that resource releases the lock is got by this waiting thread, and this waiting thread is wake up from this blocked state to runnable state. So this way you can. So if the directions also here specifying on which state it is went to blocked state from this runnable, and when it is come back to this blocked to runnable state. The same way here also waiting for some event it is going to went, and when you wait ended, then it automatically come back to runnable. So after thread ends, after the run method, it that automatically terminates that thread from the execution. And next one, given a thread instance, nothing but an object of a thread, you can use get state to obtain the state of the thread. For example, the following sequence determines if a thread called this one is an object in the runnable interface state at the time, you can invoke this get state method. So thread dot state, this is an object of that states belongs to finding the current thread state. So we can call that thread already created this runnable object, that is THL. So class that is implemented this runnable. So get called get state method. So if TS is equal to the runnable, it is important to understand that the thread state may be changed after the call to get state. Why? Because and there the process execution currently working or processing under on the CPU process, that state may be changed at any time of period, at any instant of time. When you make a call, maybe you are expecting runnable, sometimes maybe it getting terminated state. Why? Because the time delay you can't measure, we can't see that how much time it's spending on runnable and how this blocker state that. That is completely based on the resource allocation and release, and the process entirely depends on the configuration of the system, right? And that depending on the circumstances, the state obtained by the calling get state may not be reflect the actual state of the thread, only moment later. Got it? The second topic it is thread priority. So thread priority is generally used by the schedulers, thread schedulers, because making those proper order for execution on CPU to decide which thread should be allocated to run, allowed to run on CPU. In theory, higher priority threads get more CPU time than lower priority threads. That it is when higher priority threads need to be executed urgently, so we allocate CPU time more on their execution. But lower priority threads we will take some time and later we schedule for execution. Higher priority thread can also preempt a lower priority one. Okay, it may be possible sometimes. In theory, threads of equal priority. It may be sometimes maybe equal priority threads may compete to execute on a CPU. So then get equal access to the CPU, but you need to be careful here. Otherwise, the system may be going to blocked state or deadlock state. So we will discuss this topic in later topic. To set a thread's priority, we use method called set priority method, which is the member of thread also. This is the general form, and this method name is set priority, and type of the method is void, and it is final method. And it may expect some integer value, how much level priority you are going to set for the given thread. Okay. Here level specifies the new priority setting for the calling thread. The value level must be within range, minimum priority and maximum priority. So the values of that level may vary from 1 to 10 respectively. To return a thread to default priority, specify normal priority. So normal priority or a default priority, which is currently 5. So you can consider this 1 as a minimum priority, 10 as a maximum priority, and a normal priority for a thread or a default thread priority is value 5. These priorities are defined as static and final variables. Once this priority is assigned, we cannot allow to change within the thread, right? You can obtain the current priority setting by calling the get priority. Set priority to set the priority, new priority to a calling thread, and get priority is a method which returns the current priority of that calling thread. Okay. It is also a final method, but it is type integer. Set priority doesn't return anything value, but here get priority is an integer value. It returns some integer value specifying the priority of the current calling thread. So this is one simple example here, class thread 6, extending thread class. And inside run method, now inside the run method, you are indicating that the run method is entered by the thread calling. And inside of this main method, I have created 2 threads of this class, th6, thread 1, thread 2, and priority of the first thread. I'm getting priority of T1 by invoking get priority method of the thread class. No need to specify name of everything. Here it is directly you can invoke by the object using like inheritance. And the priority of the second thread, right? First, initially, I'm trying to get the what is the priority assigned by controller T1 and T2. Later, I'm going to set priority by using this set priority method. First thread with value 2, thread 2 by value 3. Again, I'm getting try to get priority after setting my priorities. And also, I'm trying to get the main thread, that it is main thread for my program, that it is. So you know that method current thread is the method we can connect to the current thread, main thread that is created for our program. And we can get the name of that main thread. And we also get the priority and set the priority of that main thread also. So this is the indication that we can use these methods for our user next child threads also parent thread, right? And we can also get the priority of the parent thread. And go to the execution part of this one, thread 6. As it is, I have taken the same here. th6 extends the thread, getting thread priorities T1 and T2 and setting those 2 priorities with 2 and 3. And again, I'm getting thread priorities by calling that method get priority. And I'm using the main thread name. What is my main thread name? And I'm getting the priority and setting priority to maximum, right? And later again, priority of main thread is getting and display. The 3 things we are going to do on this in this program. And go to command prompt. Okay. Okay, coming to this command prompt here, javac thread6.java. Next one, Java thread6. So if you observe that my first thread priority and second thread priority given 5, default priority given. But later I set these priorities by using set priority method 2 and 3. Then after that I accept that priority, that indicating that the priority of first thread and second thread is 2, 3. And as next one I access the name of the main thread or parent thread, that it is main thread. The main is the name of the parent thread. And I get the priority assigned to this parent thread. Initially it assigns priority 5, but I changed that priority to 10. Again, I'm accessing that it is 10. Got it? Next topic is synchronization. So when two or more threads need access to shared resource, as I told you, when the two threads are cooperative to each other, nothing but they are depending on each other while executing, or maybe they two or more threads going to access a shared data or a shared variable or a shared common data, or maybe a resource, maybe software or hardware, they need some way to ensure that resource will be used by only one thread at a time, not two at a time. So generally it is not possible in real time. We can use the resource by two threads execution at the same time. But so we need to achieve that between those two processes, the concept is called synchronization. The process by which this is achieved, that it is mutual understanding, mutual exclusion between the running threads in a system, the concept is called synchronization. Using synchronizer methods, synchronization is easy in Java because all objects have their own implicit monitor. And I told you this monitor is a one synchronized concept achieved in the previous videos. That is no need to have monitor class separately. Every object create under this Java environment that the monitor is an implicit thing that to when any thread invoke the synchronization method on a particular object, then no other thread is going to execute the same synchronizer methods. Why? Because that automatically monitor is set into that process for synchronization. So here, to enter an object monitor, you just call a method that has been modified by the synchronizer keyword. When we use this synchronize, that nothing but you are making other threads to execute the same method when we are going to give a signal to access it. Until then, they wait in a state. Next one. So here I have class one for this your example. So here I have a class X and one display method, that is void type, and public and synchronizer method. Here it is the keyword synchronized used. And this method is displaying string message, one string with open square bracket and message, right? So, and I have a try method here. So after this sleeping mode, that it is what is the main behavior of this display method is, it display first open curly brace, later something string message, and right. Then it going to sleep for some moment, sleep, and later it execute the statement which displays closed braces, right? So this is the simple scenario of this display method. So what we get after executing this part of program in my program is uh, open bracket and something string message, sleep method, and closing square bracket. And I have another class called y that extends thread. Here I'm creating one more thing here for. So this is my object of that X class, and I'm invoking that here that object of this class X into this constructor of Y, that indicating that this class A object is invoked and assigned initializing with the object of X when I'm creating this one with something value, okay, right? And later one message is displayed initialized with this constructor by using the string value. So when I'm creating an object of this Y class, here it is. So I'm passing two parameters. One is the object of this X class, along with some string message. Okay, then only this method will call and execute, right? And I'm going to start my threads, which are uh, created on my class one. So this inside of this run method, when the thread is started, the control automatically goes to run method. So here in this run method, I invoked that display method using that class object called X. So that's why I have sent here class object every time, class X object every time, and creating an object of Y class to call this display method on individual string values like this. So what is my intention here? It is, so first display that method square bracket and string it is welcome. The first letter is welcome and close bracket. Like that, new and like that. And third statement is square bracket open, programmer and close bracket. Like this, I want to synchronize the methods or threads which are executing on these classes. This way we can synchronize. Okay. And we go to see this program, how this program responds to the user using synchronized and without using synchronized. Okay. So here it is, the method clearly same method here. We have taken this one. So here, see this one class X synchronized display method and curly brace square bracket open message and sleeping mode for 1 second, and we are displaying this one, right? Yeah, so the thing here it is, we are created here in this PH7 class, thread 7 class. So three objects, nothing but three threads we created to invoke that display method to display the this given string into between two curly square brackets open and close. I'm going to synchronize these methods. Why? Because these threads are depends on this one. First displaying this one and later sleeping and displaying this one. But in between how these threads are created and executed and how they are invoking the displays method like this. So without synchronization, it gives some different cases, and with synchronized, it gives something different case. So go to the command prompt for executing this one. So see here, coming to javac th7.java as it is compiled, java th7. So before going to this one, I just want to make a change. Yes. So here I am first removing the synchronized, right? And saving this one and going to command prompt. And again, I'm compiling this one. As it is compiled, now I'm executing java space th7. So if you observe that one, so three threads are first executed the first statement before sleeping, and later they sleep like this. So our aim is not achieved here. Why? Because I want to display these strings open square bracket and close the square bracket. I'm not syncing these threads properly. So that's why the output came like this. So when I go to the back and again use the synchronization method, so see here, you can use synchronizing method here, right here, synchronized. Go to command prompt again. Okay. And once again, here it is uppercase letter S is used. As it is now, it is got. Here it is capital S I used. That is wrong. Small lowercase synchronized keyboard is used. So then execute Java space ph7. There it is. So once if you observe that, the threads are synchronized properly. In the previous one, we got the output like this. Now we got the synchronized way. They can use the thread execution with synchronized to reach each other. And sleeping mode also. You can once again see that one. Once again, I am executing that one. So first it displayed that one, next this one, right? Got it? So this way we can synchronize the threads while executing. And these are the references. Thank you.